won't you come over? Dying to know where you came from. We're breaking open. Feel like our future's just begun. And all I know is that we lost time. If we stay right here, we could free ourselves inside. We'll stay awake forever. We'll hide away when no one knows. Let's run away together. Just lead me into your world. We'll stay awake forever. We'll hide away when no one knows. Let's run away together on our own. Just lead me into your world. Waiting for no one. We're heading straight up for the sun. They'll never notice. We'll take these cities on our own. And all I know is that we lost time. If we stay right here, we could free ourselves inside. We'll stay awake forever. We'll hide away when no one knows. Let's run away together. Just lead me into your world. We'll stay awake forever. We'll hide away when no one knows. Let's run away together on our own. Just lead me into your world. can see where you are, though you are meant to be. Wish you're here next to me. Where you dream just to be where you are, in a world I can see where you are, though you are meant to be. Wish you're here next to me. Where you I know I'm not the easiest to love. I thought I would at least be worth a shot. Instead you gave up on me 2 months in, 'cause my flies were too hard to deal with. Did you even love me in the first place? In the first place? If you did, we wouldn't be in this place, in this.
Welcome to the Boise State Esports Arena. Tonight you're joining us for Boise State's NACE season opener against Creighton University. Boise State is ready to go for the first NACE Overwatch match of the year. We'll see if they can start it out on a positive foot after a disappointing last season. We'll get into all of that, of what's at stake for the Broncos in just a few seconds. But first, I want to say hello. My name is Jacob Palmer, and I'll be covering all of the action for you tonight as we start the varsity season. So, Why is this season very important for the Broncos? Well, the season could be described as one of redemption because last season Boise State made it into several playoff matches in NACE Star League, but they weren't actually able to break into the grand finals for any of the sports they competed in NACE, and that was especially a pity considering Boise State hosted the NACE grand finals last semester. So you could say that we have a new year and a new chance at redemption. We'll see if any of the squads, including the Overwatch squad we see tonight, can make it to the grand finals, but that all starts with the first game. This one, Boise State faces up against Creighton University. We got the players back on stage, gearing up, ready to go for the first live match that they will face, and whether this is a live match, one they're doing at home, or one that's taped, any scenario requires good advice, and that's going to be in the form of Doc's keys to the game in Overwatch. As it looks like we're also previewing the first stage we're going to get into. Ilios is the one that looks to be on deck, so a nice change of scenery, if you will. I always like Ilios, whether it's daytime or kind of the sunset here, just a lot of very pretty scenic views. And as I was saying for Doc's keys to the game, if there's one thing you want to take away more than anything, more than above any other thing that Doc gives to his team members, it's to never take a fair fight. So we'll see if Boise State can be consistently starting out those fights. You never want to take a fair fight, and how do you do that? Well, that means you take fights in unexpected places, you don't make positioning mistakes, win your 1v1s, and win your fights before objectives. It's all brought to you by Drop-In Gaming, the premier online platform for gamers who seek competition. Play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you're new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming has the right games and competition for you. So now we get a chance to get an overview of all three stages that we will have. We got a little bit peek of ruins before we went to the keys of the game, but there is also Lighthouse and Well available for us. Of course, if you have seen any of our Boise State broadcasts, you know that I am very one note in my preferences. I am hoping for nothing more than a nice boop into the Well, and we'll see how Boise State fares. Also, as we started out, this is the first main semester that we're going to have MAGA in the mix. And actually last week, if I remember correctly, when we were covering some of the NACE Star League matches, no one brought out MAGA. But I do know that Boise State is a little bit preferable to that MAGA. And they've been working out a comp that they say is just absolutely filthy with it. But we'll have to see if the time and place arises to actually see that comp and whether they deliver on that promise and that hype that they've all been giving to us. Boise State, of course, is a very well-rounded team, can pop off in terms of individual play, but is always striving to make sure that they are working as a unit, making sure that they're calling out targets, using that target focus, and, of course, playing to every single comp's win ability. Boise State, I think the favorite stuff I like to see from them is then when their supports really step up to the mix, because, oh boy, you can get some really good plays. There are so many supports nowadays that can just function as a DPS in their own right. I mean, you've got the classic Zen, you can always, kind of get a one-tap if you use that right-click to its greatest advantage, but you also got heroes like Baptiste and Kiriko that can just put out so much raw damage that healing kind of becomes a secondary ability to them, and you're basically playing with 3 DPSs if your support is good enough. I don't know if we'll see that from Boise State tonight, but always something to look forward to. Also, I saw Matt work on stage, and he is well known as a great tank player, likes bringing out that wrecking ball. He is kind of he is something else when it comes to that. So I would say be very, very careful if he brings that out. And then we can also see we are going in toward Well here. Not only the option for the environmental through the Well, but of course there is this ledge here. We don't see it too much, though. Most players are either taking the narrow alleyways to get to Well, and this also has a really good point ability for a team to push up as well. There are so many narrow hallways and narrow alleyways making their way over towards Well that if you got a team that can take space and also have some really good flankers, we've seen Boise State be able to get some really nice pinching plays just in these narrow streetways and just making it so that no team whatsoever can even get close to making it to the actual point. So that's what we got lined up for Ilios. The players all there giving each other some final words of encouragement before we are ready to jump in. I can see they got their custom lobby open, so it should only be a few more seconds before we jump in. The main question that I am considering is, whether we are going to see a very quick match or whether we're going to go more than 3 games. And I am going to lay myself out on the line for tonight and say that the Broncos are going to want to start out the season well and are going to go 3-0. That's just I'm just throwing that out there. It's just something to think about. Also, I also want to throw this out there. Today is International Frozen Yogurt Day. Again, just throwing that out there. Take that what you will. As we're ready to get into this match, Boise State versus Creighton. It's B versus C, 2 very close letters of the alphabet, I might add, and also very blue-themed as well. So we have all the players loaded, ready to go in right now. You can also see, Cal and Gob up there. Cal came in as kind of a rock star off tank back in the old days, when we played all our games on black and white TVs and there were still 2 tanks in Overwatch. Cal came in as one of the best off tanks, can still function as a great tank in his own right. And hey, some of the key heroes that he plays, D.Va, can still serve great as a main tank in their own right. But usually when I see Matt Merck enter into the mix, it's usually a main tank that he's bringing out. So we'll just have to see, of course, at the very end. I mentioned everyone else, but we've also got Daydream at the very end there. Local student from Boise, Idaho. Always nice to get that sort of local talent into the mix. I know that's one of the very big things we want to have for this school is we don't just want to have a lot of students who might be interstate or international. We also want to have that local mix. As I say, the people who know that there is no Z in Boise. Always nice to have those locals ready to remind all the new students how things work around here. So here we go. We're ready to jump into the action, starting out on Ruins. Let's see what the Broncos are bringing to the table.
Round 1. Capture the
Well, we do see a Zarya and a Tracer is being brought out here. Now, the Tracer, I wonder if there's going to be any collaboration between the Zarya and the Tracer. Looks like we do have a DC out, but you can't, the game must go on, so we'll see how Boise State does here, 1 down. As Creighton is moving in, they're bringing out, I guess they've got the Ana and the Battle Cattle as well, the Orisa. Matt Merck trying to do his best to get some sort of pick, but it's so hard to go up against a Sojourn that has that right click nailed down. No more will fall, and Creighton University making their way on toward the point to claim it. Daydream teleporting back, making sure that Boise State can get a full reset here. Cal is the one who's actually going to be on the tank. Matt Merck is going on to Tracer instead. Daydream bringing out the Ana. Always sort of a fun thing to bring out. It does mean that Boise State is down 1 DPS, and when you consider you got a Soldier or Sojourn, that's a lot of damage to make up. But Matt Merck and Lyric are going to say, I can just do stuff on my own. Now Boise State is up 1, up 2 in this fight. Kel making some space for himself, trying to clear out the last remaining squishies. He got Bean trying to stay on point. He is not going to make it, and it's a fight cleared and a fight won for the Broncos. Boise State is also going to be sitting on a pulse bomb, and if you have those abilities that can just get 1 pick instantly, you're going to be starting at least, you're going to be making it a fair fight where it's at least a 4v4. Boise State is going to want to try to claim as much as they can onto this. See that Battle Cattle going deep in where you have an attempted flank here onto Daydream. Then the support is going to come in clutch, going to force the recall back out on that Tracer, and a nice nade is planted as well. An anti-nade to be able to send that Tracer back towards start. Boise State is doing a tremendous job keeping all of this space, despite that unfortunate DC at the beginning. You wouldn't know it by the way the Broncos are playing. Talk about a statement to make at the beginning of the season, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Anti's going to be thrown onto the Battle Cattle, and the Lucio trying to make room against Daydream, trying to call out to some teammates, but Cal is focused on the front line, has the Ana in sight. The Sleep Dart is going to hit, but Matt Merck manages to land the final blow, and now moving back on toward the point. There are some squishies right in Matt Merck's line of sight. Right in Kel's, line of sight. Matt Merck also working with Kel to be able to take out these squishies, and the nades are going to be thrown down as well. Now, Youngest does take out Daydream, but the thing is, the point itself has all of this damage ready to go on it, making it so that This tank really can't afford to be on the point for the time being. The beat is going to be spent from Boise State trying to keep them alive. They still have 2 ultimates left, the Nano and the Pulse Bomb. Creighton also has a lot of ultimates as their own. The Nano going right onto that Ana, taking out M. Borg. Boise State staying in the fight, but they gotta take out this tank that Creighton has on the point. Very difficult while they're waiting for Kel to respawn, but maybe they can throw the anti-nade on there. There's a lot of damage they're placing on, and the Terror Surge is going to come out. It's not going to be enough, and now Boise State, they've got the tank away for Creighton University, trying to get, Matt Merck is so low on health, but he also got the other DPS down low as well. Kel gets one final melee onto Bean. One final slam down from Kel. Take out Leonard. He gets hit with a sleep dart. He's also antied. He needs to get on out of there. Meanwhile, after all that drama, Boise State secretly, covertly took the point back for themselves. We got a little bit of healing going on for Daydream, cleaning things up, and a nano boost as well. This could really make this next fight the game winner for Boise State. We'll see how it's used. Nano boost is placed onto Matt Merck, who also has the sticky bomb, and anti placed on toward Lyric, and Matt Merck tears in with the double. Daydream's also got one onto Leonard. Wicked Savage is down and out for the count. There is just the tank left, and Boise State in spectacular fashion claims the first round 4v5. Are you kidding me? I was not expecting a turn of events like that. This is another just quick replay of the work that Daydream was putting in, and also was really just doing work on these antis, hitting them consistently onto the targets Boise State wanted them. Especially if you remember at the beginning, Daydream was getting focused down hard by some of the more flanky DPSs such as Tracer. So being able to survive through those initial flanks and being able to call the other team members to be able to keep Daydream up, I mean, I could probably count on one hand, maybe 1 or 2 the times Daydream was eliminated, and having that key support, like Ana is a very key support you want to be having up for your team. Great job of Boise State, despite being 1 down, making things work out as a team. We're going to be moving on to Lighthouse now. Matt Merck seeing what he can pick up. They're going to drop some of the heroes down, and as Creighton has lost the high ground, as Boise State moves in, Matt Merck's going to be able to use the recall, moves back for a bit of healing. Boise State trying to make some favorable positioning for themselves so that they can claim this point first, maybe even get a boop if Lyric has positioned himself off right. That's another that goes down. Boise State is making my dreams come true. I love seeing people lose the battle against gravity, and Boise State is doing fantastic at that. Also getting clear of Bean. Mborg's going to go down as well. Youngest third, and Boise State has claimed the point in the first fight. They also have a sticky bomb for good measure. Kel claiming a bit of ground, seeing what he can see on top of those rooftops. Bit of a swap. Wicked Savage has gotten off of the Bastion. Instead, going to be moving on to the Reaper. I mean, if he can get close, then that's going to be proving great dividends. And I mean, Wrecking Ball can get close to you, especially once you get those slam downs. We'll see how things work out. Matt Merck looking at this sticky bomb. Who can he target? Kel also has all these Minesweepers. Oh, that's a filthy bomb place. It doesn't get anyone. And the Maywall goes up for Creighton. Boise State looks like they caught Creighton completely off guard, and Matt Merck lands it. He doesn't need a sticky bomb. He'll just get it with the melee. Looking for a double right now as he's ducking in and out of these doorways. Moose also picks up 1. Boise State is now back up to full strength. But I don't think they even need it. It's just more win for the Broncos as they keep on eliminating Creighton one at a time, getting youngest. And Boise State is up to 35 and looking pretty for this fight. We take a little bit of a break. Matt Merck has also charged up that sticky bomb again. That was just one team fight. It was an extended one, but Matt Merck is going to have another bomb ready to go. Daydream and Lyric also getting close on their ults. Creighton University, what route do they want to take? I hear that Reinhardt, they've swapped their tank over as well. And all that Ryan has nowhere to go. Kel just dropped all the mines right onto that balcony. I suppose he's going to take them out, put it out into a vantage point where everyone can see. Moose also being healed up by some great shots from Daydream. Kel getting another one with a melee onto the May, and Boise State is just not letting off the gas at all. And a target here onto the Kariko as well. You cannot get out of this dark alleyway when Kel is focusing you down. It's forcing the tank to go all the way back near to Creighton's spawn. And Boise State is going to be more than happy with this positioning, allowing Creighton to move past 80%. Boise State now is just one team fight, maybe just half a team fight left. Creighton has to move on here to try to get some sort of touch to keep this going. We see an interesting swap by Matt Merck on toward the Echo. They use everything they can, all their util to get onto the point, but Moose is waiting with this rail gun and is picking them off. Boise State is also using their nano boost. Moose is a very dangerous here. You don't want to go up against that. Ryan is not long for the count, and Boise State claims it in just 2 maps on Ilios. Well, I have never had a prediction of mine look like it was going to be disproven so fast, and then probably the greatest surprise in my life that Boise State was still able to pull out the victory there. So my prediction still stands. This doesn't happen often. I'm a little lost. I don't know where to go on from here. But the Broncos, I'm sure they know where to go on from here. Just on to more and more of it is down 1 DPS, and when you can sit to the second stage, this next one is usually hybrid, which means we normally see the standard of Kings Row, but if anything is to go by the previous NACE season, Eichenwald has also been a great pick, especially in the 5v5. It's really allowed some teams to kind of come into their own element, and so having 2 maps that might be a possibility is certainly better than just 1 map. So I'll count my blessings when I can get them. Of course, I mean, there are also some other picks that you can bring out. You can bring out the Numbani if you're thinking about it. There's, you know, we always as casters bring up Blizzard World, but I'm not even going to entertain that thought. I'm not going to get my hopes up too much. If I'm not hoping for anything, I can't be disappointed. And we're probably going to go to either Eichenwald or Kings Row for the next pick. It is Creighton's decision. However, after we wrap up Hybrid, then we'll be moving on to Flashpoint, and that one is even more of a sure thing because it has been Servasa all the way. I know Boise State's head coach, Doc Haskell, likes New Junk City a lot, just kind of the vibe and the theming of it. The only thing is that it's a hard sell for a lot of players because that first point, you're fighting on the low ground if you want to claim it. And so they say first impressions are everything, and for that being the very first Flashpoint, it's turned a lot of people off to New Junk City. But a lot of people like Servasta. They also like it because Servasta is just one of those stages that has a lot of outs. It actually allows for some quick team resets. I mean, it doesn't come to your mind at first because the spawn is so far away from all the points. You got to really book it. But if you got a Lucio, that can be mitigated, or just someone who knows how to use all their abilities go very fast. But Servasa has a lot of places where you can just kind of fall off the map, have a quick reset, and be able to make sure that your team is not being staggered out. So it has some fun options in that regard. But we'll have to address that once we get to that actual stage, ready to get into Hybrid in just a few minutes. And my goodness, Matt Merck put in his heart and soul into that match when you have to think that he was the only DPS on Ruins that had to bring it together for Boise State. And then he had this insane flank right here. He didn't land the pulse bomb, but as I said, at the time, he didn't need it. He was just landing everything, ducking in and out. He took on the Kariko, then the May. Both of them were victories, and by the time the Rhine came in for reinforcements, it left this poor Lucio out here just trying to get back. And once Moose had joined in, he and Matt Merck were a tag team that no one would want to go up against. But you just see how cleanly the target focus is and how Boise State is just focusing one at a time. And then here we go. This was the the balcony of doom. You could just see that Reinhardt just rotating left and right. That shield changing angles so much, because there's really no safe place you can look. Boise State is focusing from all angles, and you can't really step anywhere as well, or else you're going to go into those mines. You know, might have been just been trying to rotate, so clearing out the mines with your shield. But, man, Boise State was not making any of these fights comfortable for Creighton. And then one final play as Moose Stage and just about everybody focusing down. That is target focus if you want to talk about it. 4 players getting in on 1 elimination. Well, it is, as I foretold, it is Kings Row, the old standard, the old favorite that everyone knows and tolerates. And as we are into this match, Boise State not choosing this stage will have the choice of what side they want to go. Means I think they'll probably pick defense first. Boise State had some good luck of just holding it outright on the first, and then if you hold good on defense, then you only need 1 tick on offense to be able to claim the match outright. Can make it definitely short and sweet as far as hybrid stages go, because, oh my goodness, if you remember how how best of fives used to be when it was control, hybrid, escort. Having those two payload-centered stages back-to-back was a marathon and a half, especially if the two teams were very equally skilled. You'd be going into overtime, and you'd have two 20 to 30-minute matches back-to-back, and then you weren't even done with the stage. You still had a Sultan and another control to go. But here, it's a little bit more spread out. We're going from kind of a control stage to a payload stage. Hybrid, I count that as a payload stage. And then you're moving back over into kind of the ultimate control stage, which is Flashpoint. So ever since those new modes released, a lot more variety in the first 3 games. And since a lot of games in the early season, because, you know, every college is just kind of still feeling each other out. You're in round robin, so sometimes you have some very lopsided matches. I like seeing that variety in the first 3 stages. This isn't just payload central and, you know, 5 minutes of control at the very beginning, but for an hour you're watching the payload. So nice variety overall, at least in the modes. I'm not going to say variety in the stage because I'm saying this as we're overlooking Kings Row here. So this is the one viewpoint that is probably never going to change. And man, it's not often that we often see Boops get into this section of the stage. Gaps are a little bit small, but sometimes it can come into play, especially if a team is very desperate trying to claim that 3rd point. Some good environmentals can be scored through those narrow gaps in the walkway. And another thing to remember about Kings Row is that it usually is a feast or famine stage. You're either going to see the first stage held outright, which is hard to do because the defending team is so far away from the spawn point, or if the payload is captured, then you're most likely going to be seeing it go into the Omnic Factory at the very end. We're loading in. I would assume that's Creighton ready to go on attack. We'll see what they bring to the table, as well as Boise State. In terms of defense, going to stick onto the Wrecking Ball. We also got a Hanzo ready to claim some of that high ground. Got an Ana and Lifeweaver being brought out, and then a Tracer. So I would assume that's still Matt Merck on the Tracer, Kel on the Wrecking Ball, Daydream still being on the Ana, and then that would mean Moose is on Hanzo. I'm either completely correct here, or I'm going to be proven wrong in spectacular fashion as the UI pops out on screen. I've done enough of those. Yeah, see, I got it. I've done enough of those, you know, deducing puzzles. You know, guess 3 is sat next to guess 2 if he's wearing green. You know, those kinds of puzzles to know how to work out how things are here. Creighton University going to be starting out with a Widow being brought out, but that's just for an initial peek. We see the teams. Look at this! Cal is moving so far up, he has absolutely no fear. He's moving to basically pinch the team in from both sides, and he's still not being taken out, even though he's all by himself. And Creighton University is going to loop around the statue. Cal now trying to get back to his team as this Orisa is further moving in. Got a bit of fire from up above as Moose and Lyric are raining down fire from above. Lyric has re-grounded himself. As Boise State is keeping them at bay. No real eliminations to speak of at this point. Creighton still hasn't gotten their first tick. Boise State gets their first pick, though. Moose takes out Leonard. Now who's next? It's going to be a support. Creighton, their Kariko and May are next on the list. We got a swap out from Leonard as well onto the Reaper, and I can kind of see some things here and there. I mean, again, if you're able to get close to the tank, that Reaper can do a lot of damage, but that basically completely lets Moose, I mean, you're looking at both. Moose has to really be focused around that Widowmaker. That's the only thing that can really contest Moose at long range. Kel goes down, doesn't even need the slam, and is just kind of diverting attention. You also see Matt Merck hanging out on the top of Theater. Bit of a slam in, and the minefield comes online. Kel drops it. Now Creighton University, where do you want to go? They have to be forced all the way back to the start of the statue. Nice slam down as Emborg just gets eliminated, bodied by Kel. And the other support is gone too for Creighton. No healing, no chance for this push. Leonard falls, and the rest have to retreat unless Boise State gets a stagger on top of that. That is going to be the case. In fact, let's get one onto the Lucio as well. Things are looking good. Boise State now sitting on top of 3 ultimates. I got the Nano, got the Pulse, got the Tree of Life. Creighton University only... Oh my goodness, I said Moose was going to be focused on that Widowmaker, and he sure was. Just immediately takes that Widow out, meaning Creighton's fighting one down, so now they're going to try bringing out the Torb. And Matt Mirth picks up a double. Kel also onto Yun, and this is ugly to watch. Creighton is going to try another. They got to wait for another full team spawn. Their tank comes back online. Boise State spent a few ultimates, but they still got the Nano and Tree. Creighton University moves in, a quick duck out of the way to avoid those flame strikes. Moose takes out the turret. Slam down from Kel. That Ryan is focused down so fast. The beat comes out, but it's after Bean has been eliminated. So Boise State is still fighting with a person advantage. Matt Murk eliminates that Lucio. Creighton now down sub 1 minute. Kel has this. Oh, he's got a minefield again. Moose is just consistently winning this fight against the Widow, which just hasn't been able to make any sort of dent against Boise State. Cal just waiting on this. Oh man, he is so charged up. Ready, drops the minefield. This Ryan has to go forward, gets hit with the Sleep Dart Dragon Strike, also knocks him back into the Dragon Strike. Cal, that is one nasty hamster that I would not want as my class pet. Let me tell you that. That would make 4th grade even more terrifying than it was. Moving in toward the theater, gets another one as the round ends, and Boise State holding Creighton to not even 1 tick. Whoo, boy. That's also really kind of, I was also thinking for Creighton how this was overall going to work out for them as a team, because, the Rhine, Rhine can be good, but the Widow kind of works against that. If you're going to have Rhine in kind of a very brawly team comp, then if the Widow's really going to fit into that, then you're really going to be wanting to get those picks right off the bat, and I don't think Creighton won a single one-on-one with that Widow, so wasn't necessarily doing anything. Infrared sights, not going to be an ultimate that can turn a whole fight around the way Boise was playing, so questions about whether that should have been stuck on as long as it was will abound. But now Boise State just a hop, skip, and a jump away from claiming Kings Row, and then moving on to Flashpoint, the possibility to close this out entirely. Short breather for everyone. And a little bit of a, looks like a little bit of a swap as they head back into the tube station. Moves back, now has the Kariko, ready to go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we're off to the races. Kel bringing out the Doom as Moose has gone on to the Widow. Standard opening. We'll see if he can pick up one. He was great enough on the Hanzo. I'm sure he can pick up something on the Widow. Daydream moving in with the Ana. And these healing shots. Moose, yes, but I called it out. He gets one onto Bean. And look at this charge forward by Creighton. They're moving past the choke. And that Diva is getting focused down. Has to use the defense matrix, but that's not even going to be enough to just stop all the damage Boise State is pushing out. Like I said, it's just a casual stroll in the park out toward the first point, and Boise State picks it up against Creighton. And we'll get a little chance to see who gets play of the game. It's going to be going over to Moose on the Widowmaker. Which really, when you consider this fact that Boise State was on attack for all of 15 seconds, this just shows what a force Moose can be. He only had a sliver of time to get the play of the game as the Widow, and oh boy, did he make use of every single second he was allotted. So, Boise State, we have got 2-0 in the overall scoreline. We've also got a few replays that we can watch as we wait for the next map on Flashpoint to come through. Probably not going to be too long for that one to be decided because you only have 2 choices. So let's take a look at some replays in the meantime to show how we got there. Boise State off to a bit of a shaky start as they had an unfortunate DC at the beginning, but it really didn't matter when Matt Merck and especially Kel were just doing work here on the Tracer and the Wrecking Ball respectively. And I think it wasn't even here on Ruins. I mean, Kel did a great job on Ruins, but I think by the time we got to Lighthouse as well, Kel was especially coming into his own here. And Matt Merck did an incredible job on this Tracer. Here we see, I don't know if this was the exact moment. It might have been just afterwards, too, but it was at this exact location I like where Kel pushed one of the players into the Dragon Strike that Moose had just unleashed. So that was definitely really fun to see, and Kel was just, I mean, he's not, everyone's focusing on trying to bring him down, but he's not even going sub 400 health here. So Boise State, I mean, he's just all the way up to their spawn, and he's just getting stagger after stagger on it, completely insane. And another look back up on stage there. Seems like they're dialed in, ready to make this a pretty early night, all things considered. Looking at a possible best of 5 Overwatch, but they just want to end it in a clean sweep, and then they had this attack here from Creighton. Oh, I stand corrected. Creighton did get 1 tick onto there, so they did get, so it was a little bit past 1 tick, but still very minuscule amount that Boise State had to overcome. Now we head on over into Servasa. No surprises here. Of course, if you want to make it a sweep of sweeps, make it an A+ sweep, then get all 3 flashpoints right off the back. It'll be looking good. You can say that you didn't drop anything in your match. A little bit of a chance to overlook all the individual flashpoints here, 5 of them to remember. We always start out here in the central market. Sometimes we do see a Junker Queen be brought out here for all of that sustain. I'm not quite seeing that quite yet. I mean, Kel's doing enough on the Wrecking Ball. He can just run that all the way home, and there's nothing really more to add to that. Looking back and forth between everything here. Actually, no, I mentioned it. I called it out. I think that is the Junker Queen being brought out here. This one should be a treat to watch as the fight gets on underway. Let's see how those knives land. It's going to be Moose placed on there. And, oh, man, I like this. We got a little bit of a swap up in the rolls. This should be fun to watch. Bean and Leonard already taking a good amount of damage. Leonard holding on by a thread, and Matmer comes on in with the Genji and picks up the double. Cal also getting rid of Bean. Got the shout to give a little bit more health to everyone from Boise State. But the fight was just basically over by then. Just a little bit of health on top of that. Just a token, really, in what was already a staggering victory. Lyric regrouping. He was really the only one taken out. That was the only pick that Creighton managed to get against Boise State. And we move on in, trying to decide who they want to focus down. Man, that D.Va was not alone for the world. In fact, Boise State was basically split up. You had Matt Merck and Kel off to the side working as a tag team, and they just took down the tank all by themselves, whereas the rest of the team was just kind of holding Creighton off on that high ground. Boise State will take the point back. Creighton got a little bit of a sneaky capture. Trying to land those knives. Good amount of them landing. That D.Va, once again, very low on health, has to back on out. Another knife landed. That D.Va is being brought down to half health multiple times. Moose and Matt Merck land their shots. There we go. That's what you like to see. One support taking out the other. Lands it with the melee. That's going to be a team kill for Boise State. And they pick up the first flashpoint. We're gonna have Tree, Rampage, and the Kitsune Rush as they move on to Temple. I was alluding to this. The Temple has a lot of great reset points. You have the water off to the sides, which can allow you to regroup with your team. And with Daydream landing a pick like that off at the very beginning, Creighton University, it's already a... Oh, man, that's such a huge Rampage. Look at the ante going on to so many teammates. And Matt Merck also brings out the blade. That's a bit overkill, I would say, at this point. Boise State, another stunning victory for them. I feel like a propaganda minister of a one-party state. I'm heaping so much praise for another glorious victory for the home team. The Broncos winning yet again. Creighton University hanging on to 3 ultimates. They've got the self-destruct, which is a little bit of a wild card where that lands. Boise State, if they call out where it is, though, at the beginning, I'm sure that they can not have that even be a blip on the radar. Bean goes down. This D.Va, I mean, hasn't even been able, has the full defense matrix up, but Boise State is just hitting from both sides, front and back, so there's no escape. And even with the empowered form of D.Va, the baby D.Va, at least that's how Doc likes to think of it, no chance. Boise State moving back on toward the point. Matt Merck almost with another fresh blade. Charging up so fast, you think he just has a cabinet off to the side. He spends one blade, picks another one off the shelf, and he's ready to go almost instantly. Bus. Oh, cheeky little pick onto Kel. Doesn't do anything, but still, I'll give you that. And a whole bunch of ultimates as well for Creighton. In fact, they're going to have every ultimate probably available for this next fight. Few pings going out, trying to catch everyone. Daydream holding on to this Kitsune Rush. Might be the engagement tool as Creighton University is positioning themselves to get the point first. Bit of a dodge there. Oh, okay. A Tracer gets out of. I was thinking Emborg might have put himself in a bad spot, but it's Tracer. Of course, they can get out. All right, here we go. A bunch of ultimates being spent. We've got the Blade on Boise State's side, where we've got the Rush and Beat from Creighton University, but that's a lot of their defensive ability already spent. The green light is now on for Boise State to just lay damage into Creighton. They're going to bring out the self-destruct, and oh, 2 of the Broncos aren't able to get away from that, but it really has to be the solace for Creighton at this point. You have the visor as well. They have to basically spend everything to be able to take this point. But Lyric is still out there. Gets a pick with the Life Weaver. Might even claim the point for himself. He brings out a melee, trying to land the last few shots against this Lucio. And I thought this was supposed to be a Creighton point take, not Boise State taking it back themselves. They've been able to get back as a team, a 3-on-1 to get rid of the Life Weaver. Lyric surviving for that long. The rest of the Broncos are back onto the field. The Rampage comes out. Knife landed as well. And Moose, one final shot in midair. That is it. Oh, man, things getting a bit loopy here and there. With Lyric being, I don't know, I guess you could call him the sleeper initiator of that fight, as Boise State is now taking so much ground for themselves, getting right on up into Creighton's face. Doesn't want to let them even get close to the flashpoint. What an incredible showing from the Broncos. Just a few more seconds now as they go past 80. Matt Merck gets the pick onto Bean, Kel onto Emborg. And that's one of the ultimates, the one ultimate Creighton had now they can't use. It's just not going to be enough time, and if you wanted a more forceful demonstration of how the Broncos want this season to go, 3-0 sweep, starting out at a 4-5 disadvantage. I cannot think of a more total victory than the one the Broncos just pulled out. And let's see, the final play of the game, given over to Matt Merck this time. And ever since he had that first round as Tracer on Ilios, and then moving on to the Genji later on in the fight, he could match anybody. A slash here and there, and that will do it. A nice little bit of applause there. Golf clap for the Broncos as they win their first match of the season. So great job all around to the Broncos. Well, That was a short one. That was a short match here. I'm looking. We started 7:50. We started 15. Okay, we started 45 minutes ago. So I guess oh man, that is 15 minutes for each individual stage. When you think of the downtime, there's really only 10 minutes of game 30 minutes of gameplay that we just saw. Pretty impressive overall in this team fight. But we will leave you with the top 5 plays of the game, brought to you by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams to join out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. That's going to do it for this match. So thank you for watching. Enjoy your top 5 plays. But Matt Burke and Lyric are going to say, I can just do stuff on my own. Now Boise State is up 1, up 2 in this fight. Kell making some space for himself, trying to clear out the last remaining switchies. You got Bean trying to stay on point. He is not going to make it, and it's a fight clearing. Very difficult while they're waiting for Kell to respawn, but maybe they can throw the anti-nade on there. There's a lot of damage they're placing on, and the Terror Surge is going to come out. It's not going to be enough. Now Boise State, they've got the tank away for Creighton University, trying to get, Matt Burke is so low on health, but he also got the other DPS down low as well. Kell gets one fight. This Orisa is further moving in. Got a bit of fire from up above as Moose and Lyric are raining down fire from above. Lyric has re-grounded himself. Boise State is keeping them at bay. No real eliminations to speak of at this point. Creighton still hasn't gotten their first tick. Boise State gets their first pick, though. Moose takes out Leonard. Now who's started the statue. Nice slam down as Emborg just gets eliminated, bodied by Kell. And the other support is gone too for Creighton. No healing, no chance for this push. Leonard falls, and the rest have to retreat unless Boise State gets a stagger on top of that. That is going to be the case. In fact, let's get what an incredible showing from the Broncos. Just a few more seconds now as they go past 80. Matt Merck gets the pick onto Bean, Kell onto Emborg. And that's one of the ultimates, the one ultimate Creighton have now they can't use. It's just not going to be enough time, and